Welcome to Sugar, Spice and Rosé. My name is Erica and today I will be showing you how to make a pumpkin layer cake. And this cake is going to be layered with a brown butter cream cheese frosting. If you're interested in seeing how to make this cake, how to make the frosting, how to layer it and how to decorate it, please keep on watching. You're going to start by preheating your oven to 325 degrees. And then grease and line two 8-inch pans. To line the pans, you're going to take a piece of parchment that is wider than your 8-inch pan and then fold that square piece of parchment in half to get an uneven triangle that you see right here. Then you're going to fold it in the triangle, then fold it in half again, until you get a very small triangle once again. Then when you can't fold the triangle anymore, you're going to place the point at the center of the pan, and then the excess parchment that's hanging over the pan, you're going to cut that away. And then you're going to open it and see if it fits the pan. If there's any excess overhang like mine, you're going to cut that away and then it should fit perfectly. Place that into the pan with some more butter being rubbed on top of it to make sure it's properly sticking to the first layer of butter you put down, and get rid of all of those air pockets. And then you're going to flour your pan. Make sure you get all the sides of the pan as well as the parchment. Next, you're going to take your dry ingredients, which should be your flour, your raisin agents and your spices, and whisk those together to combine them. For the pumpkin or squash part of this cake, you're just going to peel and remove the seeds of your pumpkin. And this is some homegrown pumpkin that I have at home. It looks like a squash, but it didn't turn the color of a squash, so I think it's a pumpkin. So just remove the seeds, dice it, and you're going to puree that pumpkin until it's nice and fine. Then you're going to add your eggs to your pumpkin. Whisk those together. I'm using a hand mixer. When it's combined, add your sugar. It looks like a lot of sugar, but this is a fairly large batch of cake. Then when everything is combined, you're going to slowly stream in your oil. I'm using vegetable oil. You're going to want to use another flavorless oil and just stream it in until it's all combined. Then add your flour in 2 batches. Whisk that together. If we're going to do this by hand, you can do this by hand, it will just take a little bit longer. But if you're using the stand mixer, just mix it until the flour is just about incorporated. Then add the remaining amount of flour. And what I did to make sure that I'm not over mixing this batter is I decided to fold this second batch of flour in by hand to make sure again it disappears into the batter, and then just whisk it for another 10 seconds or so just to make sure everything's properly incorporated and there are no huge clumps of flour. Then I'm going to pour my batter into my lined baking pans, approximately 3 pounds each into each pan. Then you're going to bake it in your preheated oven until a toothpick inserted into the center comes out clean with no wet batter. This baking time will vary. Check it around the 45-minute mark. Once it's finished baking, wrap it tightly in plastic wrap whilst it's still warm and place it in the fridge overnight to cool. Now we're moving on to the brown butter cream cheese frosting. Place your butter into a cold pan. You want that pan to be cold when you start because you don't want to accidentally burn the butter too quickly. But you're going to melt it on a low heat, constantly stirring, making sure as it melts none of those milk solids you see stick to the pan. And you're going to constantly stir it. What I like to do is that whilst the milk solids are still fairly colorless, as soon as they start to get any color, I like to remove it from the heat and then just constantly stir it once again with the residual heat that's in the pan to make sure I'm not burning it. So that's just a tip for you. And then eventually you're going to get these nice browned milk solids like you see right there. You can allow this brown butter to cool and chill in the fridge, just constantly stirring it as well to make sure it's not just hardening into a clump, but it's still going to be pliable. Or you can set it over a water bath like you see me doing here, constantly stirring it as well. Now add it to your cream cheese. with the mixer on low and add your vanilla. Then you're going to whip these two together to make sure they're properly incorporated and to incorporate a ton of air into your buttercream. Then you're going to scrape the bowl down and add all of your icing sugar. Yep, all of your icing sugar. If you accidentally over whip a cream cheese frosting, I'm telling you it's going to be so runny and you don't want that. So add all of your icing sugar, and as you see, like I'm doing right here, keep it on low. And as soon as that icing sugar has disappeared and it's all absorbed into your buttercream, just turn your mixer up and whip it on high for approximately 2 minutes, just to make sure everything is properly incorporated. Then you're going to scrape the bowl down and cover it with plastic wrap and place it in the fridge until it's nice and chilled, and then remove it from the fridge and whip it once again for approximately 1 minute, just to make sure you re-whip that buttercream and you get it nice and soft and pliable again, but not runny. As you can see here, it's nice and smooth, but it's not runny. Now to assemble your cake, you're going to start by leveling your cake. And if you guys watch How to Cake It with Yolanda Gap, she has a really great technique on how to level your cake, so feel free to check her out. Or you can use a cake leveler, but to be honest, this is my second time filming this cake and your girl was kind of tired. So I just decided just to cut it by eye, and I got it fairly even. The cake was not leaning at all, which is a plus for me. Then you're going to take a turntable with a non-slip mat and the cake board, or if you're going to use a plate like me, the plate, and take some of that buttercream and place it on the plate to spread it around to let the cake stick to it. And then place your cake upside down, which is basically the cut side down, and then place approximately half cup to 1 cup of your buttercream. You don't want a lot of buttercream between the cake, so I'd say about half cup of buttercream between the layers and spread it out evenly as possible. So you're basically pushing that buttercream along the cake. You don't have to be perfect. I sped up the video so that you wouldn't just be sitting watching me spread buttercream, but just do it to the best of your ability. And I decided to add a little bit more buttercream there. And what I did is I took the spatula and I just kept it at an even level and just turned the turntable until it was spread out nice and evenly. And then I added my next layer cut side down, and I used my offset spatula to make sure the cake was even all around. And then I'm doing a rough coat. I'm not crumb coating the cake technically because I'm trying to do like a naked cake kind of look. So I'm just taking a little bit of that buttercream and spreading it on the sides of the cake. Technically I am locking in the crumbs, but it doesn't have to be perfect. I place some of that buttercream on the top of the cake, and again, keeping my spatula level, I just turn the turntable and it smooths it out so nicely. And then once I have the top as smooth as I like it, that excess buttercream that has basically spilled over the sides, I'm just going to take my offset spatula straight up against the side of my cake and then just clean it up. But I'm not going to swipe away that lip. I really like that rustic look that it has, so I decided to leave that. And I decorated the cake with some rum soaked raisins. You can feel free to use oat crumble or anything you feel like using to decorate your cake. And once you're done doing that, you're finished. But what I will say, based upon doing this recipe and everything, I realized I don't really like pumpkin flavored cakes or pumpkin pie or anything like that. Yeah, so this is one way to figure that out. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the recipe. If you have any questions or any suggestions for any more cakes you would like to see, please leave it in the comment section below, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.